Those days. It is absolutely one of those days. It's where Monday has turned into Wednesday. Welcome to Soccer's in Session Playoff Daily Live. John here, you there. Thanks for coming on. Here's the show. And as always, brought to us by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Coming up in short order, we get to take a trip down to Sharpsburg, catch up with Trinity Christian, and find out what's going on with them as they get ready for their next matchup. And little birdie told me that it's going to be on the network as they travel to Hebrew and Christian coming up tomorrow. And then coming up at the end of the show, it's Coach Rob Houston from Greenbrier. He has class, and so we're going to catch up with him when he is out of class at like 10 till, and he'll wrap up the show. We'll find out what's going on with Greenbrier. Big win for them yesterday. But officially in a no dilly, no dally zone because I don't want to get folks in trouble and have to pass like notes to principals and things. We go to Sharpsburg, catch up with Mike Townsend and A.J. Brown. Gentlemen, how you?
Good. How's things going?
About 500 miles an hour, kind of like what you guys are going through right now as you get ready for the next matchup in the playoffs. So, Mike, if I had told you that this is where you would be, if we had caught up at the beginning of the season, what would you have told me?
I would have told you that, yes, we'd been grateful to be in the first round of the playoffs now with the split with privates, but to be going on and hosting the first round game and going on to play another great school in the second round, I would have probably said that's not part of our 3-year plan that we've been working on.
So what was the 3-year plan that you were working on? So what was wherever that piece of paper is or wherever that document is, that Excel spreadsheet, what was the 3-year plan?
When I took the job, this is third year. When I took the job over was for the third year is by the end of the year, if we could at least win 10 matches and make the playoffs, that would be great. And to play a top-ranked schedule, which we do year in and year out, that would be fantastic. And obviously finishing top 4 of the region is what we always want to do. And like every coach, you want to be a state champion, you want to be a region champ, but realistically, when you're building a program, it takes time. So 10 wins and making the playoffs, at least one round deep would have been great.
All right. So, when I turn and look at you, AJ, and you look at this plan, what has this season been like for you and how has your game grown to this particular point?
I mean, this season's been crazy. It's been 1,000 miles an hour. It feels like we've constantly been somewhere doing something to get better. But, I mean, we've had maybe one bad week in the entire season where it fell off. But everything else has been uphill, constantly grinding. And, I mean, all those plans, all the years leading up to it, it feels like it's all coming together this year, having over 10 wins, going second round of playoffs. Like this, it's time, and it's been really good.
When you look at your numbers, 1.16, 1.17 goals against, I forget what direction you go, but you look at your game in and of itself, how has your game grown and matured this season as you've come along?
I think my game's matured and grown. It's just been more patience, trying to calm down, especially with a new team, trying to learn their play style, learn the back line. It's been very impressive to see how they've surrounded themselves with me, just trying to implement me in the plan to help the team, help everybody else, and also not give up a whole lot of goals while doing so. So I think it's just been a lot of patience and hard work trying to get to this point.
You look to your right, Mike, and you see your keeper there. What was your first impression of him when he hit campus?
Well, keeper / son, and he was not part of the 3-year plan. Last year we made a decision as a family. He wanted to help try to build something special to come down here. And obviously, we grabbed a keeper, but we had a keeper that was coming in. It was a year starter as well. And whenever AJ decided to come, he was a senior and he says, Coach, I'm done in goal. That's AJ's spot. And that's kind of how everybody's taken about, this year with him being here. But having him here is fantastic.
Is it true, and I'll ask the both of you, is it true that once you leave campus, you leave the field, that once you hit the car and you're heading home, that the conversation turns to other things? That how much conversation of on the field is off the field for you two?
I mean, a lot of it is our minds are still racing 1,000 miles an hour after practice, what we can improve, what to get better at. So, I mean, there's always some times we look over like, we need to do this better. This could be different. Just trying to change up some game plans while we're still thinking about
it. It's crazy, John. I've never coached AJ ever in anything through rec, through club, or anything. And just a quick funny story. We try to limit the conversations to not soccer, but we were in a match that we really needed to win, and we had some issues with talking to officials. And I was trying to explain to we're not talking to officials. And I see AJ hop up with Jess. Jess, Coach Jess is my keeper coach, and Jess, they're trying to get warmed up. I thought he was going to get talk to the officials. He was actually trying to get the game ball, and I may have kind of tore into AJ a little hard, and then didn't realize he was just trying to get the game ball to warm up. So that conversation on the way home was an apology type conversation.
So AJ, what have you learned from keeper coach Jessica Charman?
She's been awesome. I mean, one main thing that I've learned, especially this year, is as a shorter goalkeeper, that's okay. Like there are some things I cannot do because like I'm not 6'5", but how to adapt to it, how to use athleticism over height to still get to those balls and still do the same type of things. So that's been one thing she's been talking about that's been really beneficial because I mean she's a shorter goalkeeper too.
So obviously that means that you have hops and that you can jump through a gym to make up for the fact that as we all say about one another who are not 6'5", that we are altitudinally challenged.
Yes, sir.
In a situation. So when she's discussing these kinds of little tweaks and ways that you can gain advantages with angles and anticipation and things like that, what are those conversations like?
It's very calm. It doesn't feel like a coach in some points. It feels like hey, this could be used, but I want to see it from your angle. She wants to see it from a way of if I feel that it's the best decision, make it, but also if she sees something better, she will tell me. But especially with those little things about like how to take one extra step to make up for the height. It's just in repetition, just trying to get it down so in game I don't have to think about it.
One extra step to make up for the height. I find that interesting. So you have to either go forward, you have to figure out your angle. It's like, I've got to go forward and I've got to go this way, then I've got to go this way. Taking that extra step, I think that's an interesting approach in making up for that, the fact that you may not have 4 inches on something.
It's just that one little thing. Instead of trying to jump 80 inches in the air when you have the time, it just take one little step, then it cuts it in half pretty much. I mean, it's just all about timing and patience, making sure you can get to the ball when it's possible.
All right, so Mike, you're 12-6, 5-3 in region, and for those that don't know, Region 2 triple. How tough was region play for you this year?
I'm like every other coach. I think it's the toughest region in the state. Whitewater is loaded. Mary Persons is good. LaGrange is good. Stars Mill is good. Our lower half, who's really not lower half, I mean, Sandy Creek and Upson Lee could have been there. They just dealt with some major injuries. When you lose 2 or 3 kids to ACL tear like Upson Lee did, I mean, we based our schedule last year upon everyone being in the playoffs, including everybody that was in our region for the most part. And, even Derek's team at Fayette, they're good. We had to come from behind and win that game in the last 8 minutes. So we feel like we've been battle tested. We feel like that we're still a very young team. We'll start 4 freshmen tomorrow at some point on the field, and then especially we're young on the back line, but we play hard. And these kids, they fight for each other. We are not going to blow up the scoreboard. We're not, that's not our style of play. We're not going to score 5 and 6 goals or 3 and 4. Our goal is if we can score 1, we're going to find a way to beat you. Defensively, we try to be pretty sound with that. And it doesn't hurt having, one of the best in the Southeast in goal as well.
No doubt. Mike Townsend, AJ Brown hanging out with us here as Trinity Christian gets ready for their next matchup with Hebron Christian next round of the playoffs. So, Mike, let me ask you this. You've got Whitewater, who they're 14 in a row on the spin, 15-2 overall. But you look at Whitewater, you look at Mary Persons, who's down there in Forsyth, LaGrange, you in Sharpsburg. You've got Troop, who's hanging right there off the interstate on your way heading down to Auburn. Spalding, which is in Griffin. Sandy Creek and Tyrone. Upson Lee, which is Thomaston. and you have all of these different pockets in Fayette County as well as they're trying to grow their program. But you have all of those cities that I mentioned, and I like to have this tour with all of the other coaches that come on the show and talk about the region play. All of those cities that I mentioned, when you take it to the Football Fridays in the fall, you know that they're atypical markets, and you know that they have that fire on Football Fridays in the fall. But now it's transitioning over to the FUTBOL Fridays that we get to talk about here. What's it like to see the sport grow in a Thomaston, in a Griffin with Spalding, at Troop, when you're buzzing past everything going on there in LaGrange and Sharpsburg and LaGrange High and Forsyth with Mary Persons and Whitewater? What's it like for you to see the sport grow in all of these other pockets that folks may not gravitate toward?
Yeah, it's fantastic. One of the things too is as more club teams start and they're created, when I come here to Trinity, only 2 kids played club in our whole program, and that was middle school through 12th grade. Now we're sitting right at 100 kids in our program from 5th grade up, and every kid plays club and high level. It's just the fact that you got SC, you got MOBA, and then with the addition of course, Atlanta United and then Atlanta United 2, and everybody has a dream of wanting to play at the professional level. I get that. But there's so many opportunities to play at the collegiate level if you're willing to work hard and even just to venture out of state. I get phone calls 4 and 5 times a day. Hey, we need this, we need that. Would your kid come to Colorado? Would your kid come here? So there's always opportunities, but it's nice to see it grow. One thing, whenever Lance Duncan, athletic director, he's like, this is a hotbed. I mean, we're 2.5 miles from Bunkie at McIntosh. We're 10 minutes away from Aaron at Stars Mill. There's people here, but the good thing is we've developed the kids within our school system. Since I've been here, we've only had 4 kids move in. AJ's one of them. We had 2 brothers that start for us that moved in just for the fact that they come from a Gap school and their family business was in Columbus and they wanted to be out of the Cumming area. So we've developed our own, and we try to develop our own and just keep it going. But it's awesome to see it grow.
I will, before we leave, I will have the Make That Kid an Offer question for you, and so we'll put that one to the side in a second. AJ, what kind of a keeper are you? Who, if you had a poster on your wall that would be someone that you model yourself after, who would that poster be of?
See, recently I've been looking more, if I were to compare myself to a goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris when he was with France.
Okay.
With his footwork and his ability to get across the goal while not being a 6'5" goalkeeper has always been impressive to me. And the way he commanded France's back line for so long has always just been something that stood out to me. And the more I look, because I've always loved Thibaut Courtois, tall Belgian goalkeeper, can sit on his goal line and make saves no matter what. But the more I think about it and watch my film compared to other professional games, 2018 Hugo Lloris is really who I would want to compare myself to, based off what I do.
All right. So then to get to 2018 Hugo Lloris, what else do you think you need to do with your game to continue to have it grow and evolve to get to that point, other than have the fantastic coif and the facial hair and the calendar looks?
Right. I really just feel like right now is building more confidence with my footwork, coming out of the box, staying high line, because especially with such a young back line, there will be mistakes made, but being able to be in the right spot no matter what to come out and correct those mistakes, whether I have to be on the 30-yard line or further back, it's just being in the right place at the right time no matter what.
So, Mike, when he goes sweeper keeper, does that drive you nuts?
No, I want it. And, I have to yell at him for sometimes getting too far into the 6. I'm like, what are we doing? You've been doing sweeper keeper since you're 7 years old.
Okay.
Shoot, I like, if I could model it after somebody, and apologies for not remembering the name. We went and watched High Point play. I think High Point is a really good college team. And their keeper played sweeper. They were so high and footwork was great. And I was just like, that's what I envision a keeper to be. And I realize that not everybody can be that. But no, I love it when he plays high. My thing is this: if he gets chipped, it's my fault.
Okay. So AJ, you got it with the young back line. how do you gauge your conversation with them both on the field and off? Because, you've got to get your messaging across. It has to be the right way, and they can't take it too personally when it comes to what you're saying. How do you navigate having that young line and making sure that the messages get across, not just in game state, but off the field?
I've gotten really lucky with the back line. Even though they're young, they're very mature and know what they're talking about. I don't think I treat them any senior. I talk to them like they know what's going on. They're smart, and if they need more examples, I'll break it down. Because I don't want to treat anybody like they know less than the rest of the back line, because it's a unit. Everyone's together. If somebody doesn't know, we all don't know. So I've gotten very lucky to not have to worry about that. But everybody on our back line has been very ready to learn about it. And if they don't think it's the right thing, they'll tell me also. We're all together. If somebody doesn't know something, we all don't know it. So it's been very good learning from one another and seeing how we play to develop as a back line.
All right. So what has study hall, Mike, been like getting ready for this next go around?
Chad's got a good team. Man, they're good. I will say this. I'll put this on record. Benji or Gunji is the best player I think. Sophomore. He's a good player. I mean, I commentate on the Final Four game when they played Bremen last year. I mean, he's good. They're good. They're sound. They like to get their wingbacks forward. His system's really not changed in 25 years, sort of like how ours hasn't changed. So they're good. They really are good. They come from a good region, I think that, we between film and the schedule that we played, I think that, let's go out there and just lay it on the line and see what we can do. I also want to give props to the Weber School. Melissa's team that we played, fantastic. I mean, that was the most exciting game that I've been a part of in probably 15 years. I mean, it was for a first-round game matchup, we were evenly matched. They're a good program. She does a good job there at Weber School.
Jaws Soccer is watching
Bobby.
on the YouTube. Yep. And so Bobby has been a guest on the noon show here during the postseason. And so he's hanging out watching everything on YouTube. And so Big Mike in all caps with a couple of exclamations.
Me and Bobby are really probably me, Bobby, Aaron, and Hector used to be at Southeast Whitfield. We're all on a group chat that talks nonstop throughout the day whenever we're not teaching, So we were actually supposed to play Georgia Military, and weather come about, and we both had to move games. I wanted to play. Bobby's got a great program. So our schedule was tough this year. Like AJ said, we had 8 bad days, and it started with Whitewater. Donovan with his long throws, we just made some mistakes. We played Mary Persons, who it was a 1-0 match with a couple minutes to go. My philosophy, John, and you know this, is hey, we're going to push for the win. We're going to push for the win. And it ended up being 3-0 because we were pushing. I looked up, and AJ was really playing sweeper keeper because he was at midfield, and we were pushing 10 guys forward. And then LaGrange was a 1-0 match. It just sometimes the ball does not go in the net. You can do everything right. You see it all the time. High school to Atlanta United, sometimes it just doesn't go in the net. So.
Then what did you learn about yourselves, AJ, in the matchup at Johns Creek and going up against Pike County to kind of wrap things up as you were getting into the postseason? What did you learn about yourself that you may not have known?
That Johns, I've been joking with the team sometimes. I don't count that as a loss. I count it as a lesson going in the playoffs. I said that since the day after. We learned that we got down, we had motivation to keep going, and it just still didn't work. So, it was just a really good way for us to see our cracks in our defense that a really good team could split. So the further we get in playoffs, we know by that time it will be covered. It will be good to go. Because, a team like Johns Creek, if you're not ready 100%, they're going to run circles around you. They're a good team. But watching back on that Johns Creek film, it really shows our gaps that we needed to fix against a really good team. So if we play a team that is not like Johns Creek, it's covered and there's no way they can get through us.
All right. So it is now time, Mike. Last question on the board, and thanks for hanging out with me here on the noon show. When I'm over at Georgia Public and during high school football season, FOOTBALL. We have the thing that Hannah Gooden, Matt Stewart, and I talk about, and it's called Make That Kid an Offer. And it is for a student athlete or student athletes in parentheses with the letter S that are too whatever in air quotes. They could be too small. They could be, too skinny. They could be, too one-footed or whatever. Do you have a student athlete or athletes, boys or girls side, since I'm catching up with you now, that would fit in that Make That Kid an Offer category where you don't think they're getting the looks they deserve? They should be getting looks from a higher classification in the next level, or they're just not getting looks, period, that needs to be getting looks. If you were to sit there and stand on that press box in Sharpsburg and wave like flares and go, you need to look at these folks, who would fit that Make That Kid an Offer for you?
Okay, I got two parts. I've got two juniors. One is Jackson Upshaw. He's getting some looks, but Jackson had some medical issues at the start of last year that kept him out all season except for the last match, and it kind of got him slowed down for this club season fall. He's now starting to regain form like he was his freshman year. He's a good player. He's been to some camps and stuff with AJ. He really likes some schools, so that would be one. And we have Sebastian Lauren. He's a junior. I don't know if he wants to play at the next level. Sometimes we talk about it, but he is the guy that wants to come in and do the dirty. That means if you've got to have a hard challenge or if you've got to win one in the air, and he plays the 6, but we had to move him up as a dropped in 9 the other day because he was sitting on a yellow. So, but two good players. And then this guy here pretty much knows where he wants to go. I think everybody wants to know, but you're welcome to ask him where he wants to go.
Where would you like to go, AJ?
Ryan, I've been looking at Truett McConnell for a long time. I'm a big fan of their program and their coaching staff. It's been a really nice time, like going to all those camps and seeing those coaches.
Yep, I have seen their program as far back as their time in the SSAC when they jumped in there, so I know about what Truett McConnell can do in the NAIA. We're looking forward to seeing you guys as a part of the doubleheader up at Hebron Christian. The games will be on the network, and so we're looking forward to hanging out with you. You guys get the nightcap up there, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. It is Trinity and Hebron, and that is the nightcap of the doubleheader up there here on the network. Guys, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. And don't be strangers. Now that you've got the garage door opener, you know that you guys can come in and crash anytime and come into the office and let everybody know what's going on. Thanks for coming on In Session Live Playoff Daily. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
There we go. Mike Townsend, AJ Brown. That's cool. And so if AJ needs a note from me, like, if he goes to like the principal's office or something, it's like, where were you? Oh, I was doing like TV. So if I need to send a note, just let me know about it. Okay. So please excuse Coach Townsend and his keeper for, being on the show. So that was cool that Bobby Jaworski is also keeping an eye on what's going on. So yes, we're going to be going through things, and I know that folks are creatures of habit too. So, once again, if any coach, while we're doing these, and we're on the air, if any coach legitimately wants to come in and crash, hint, hint, then anybody who's watching can come in. And once again, later today, Bobby, if you're still out there, you've got the keys to the kingdom. You can come in at any time. GMC and Brooks are going at it today by the schedule of the bracket. And so we were going to get into that and find out what's going on with brackets and things. So if anybody ever wants to crash, if there is a coach that is watching that wants to come in and crash at any time between now and 12:50 when we catch up with Coach Houston at Greenbrier, then that's what this is for, today and tomorrow. So here's the rundown. Today at McIntosh, Johns Creek and McIntosh. We're going to have that one on the network. Jason will be on the bark for you there. 7:30, Johns Creek at 18-2, McIntosh at 16-2, Sweet 16. We'll have that one on our air for you. soccerdownhere.mixler.com and also soccerdownhere.net. You hit the listen tab, the siren, the little sirens going off. You hit that, and that's the network that it's on. It's either on SDH or SDH2. So that's what you're staring at with today. Tomorrow, it's the doubleheader at Hebron Christian. And that's why it was really cool to be able to get Trinity Christian and Coach Townsend and his keeper to come on and talk about it and get the bit of the intel going up against Hebron Christian. That one's going to be at 5:30 and 7:30 tomorrow on the network. And then Friday, we're going to be in Calhoun for Johnson and Calhoun. That kick is at 7 o'clock on the Calhoun campus, and we will be there for that one. And so we'll let you know what we find out in and around the state as we go. But today, Johns Creek and McIntosh at 7:30. Tomorrow, the doubleheader at Hebron Christian. And then Friday, it is the Calhoun Johnson Gainesville boys match. That one's going to be on the network once again, 7 o'clock. So that's what's going to happen the next 3 days. Find your favorite device. Hang out with us. You can either do it downloading on the Mixler app, or you can find Soccer Down Here in SDH2, or you do it soccerdownhere.mixler.com, and you can find out all the information that you need when it comes to what happens there. All right, yesterday. Let's get you into what happened yesterday before we get you into what's going on today. You had 4 separate classifications going on, and we'll let you know what is going on today. So yesterday it was 4, 5, 6 and Class A Division II girls. And we still have some matchups that for either geography or scheduling have been pushed to today. So most of the matchups in Class A Division II girls, along with 4, 5, and 6, were knocked out yesterday, and we know who's going to be advancing to the round of 8. Like I said, we still have a couple that are in play. We'll go over start times coming up later on here in the show. But Class A Division II, will work our way up. Yesterday, it was ESA is now going to Irwin County in the round of 8, upper left. Elite Scholars knocks off Hawkinsville 1-0. Irwin County, number 7, beat Bryan 3-0. That one was at Buddy Noble's. So ESA goes to Osceola to take on Irwin. It is ACA shutting out Crawford, and they are awaiting the winner of Lanier County and Screven. Let me check my brackets just to make sure that a score didn't sneak past me. And finding out what happened there in the brackets. Yeah, so Lanier and Screven, you're going from Lakeland to Sylvania. Pack a lunch, a dinner, a midnight snack, maybe a hard hat and a pillow. That's what that one is. And so then LOA is hosting Portal in the next round. 2 shutouts, Portal over Dooley County. Great season for our friend, Coach Doty over at Dooley. And it was great to see their season continue to go where it is. So Dooley County gets shut out by Portal. Lake Oconee Academy gets shut out by Mount Zion Carroll. So Lake Oconee Academy shuts out Mount Zion Carroll. So Portal now travels to LOA. These are all on May 5. Claxton upset GMC on the girls' side. Claxton was team 3 out of Area 3. GMC was Area 2's team number 1. So Claxton wins that one 2-1. They travel to number 1 Tryon, who shut out Greene County by the score of 10-0. Quad A, Walnut Grove and Druid Hills, that one is today in Quad A girls. And so that one did not go yesterday. Neither did Cambridge and Midtown. So those 4, the winners of those, will combine, and that one will be May 5th. Low left, Marist shut out Eastside Stars Mill 3-0 over Westminster. So Marist goes to Stars Mill and take on John Bowen and the Panthers. That one is May 5. It is St. Pius traveling to Blessed Trinity. Each team was a 4-0 winner. BT over Harris County, and St. Pius at home over the 4 seed in East Forsyth. So it is now Pius traveling to BT. Allatoona in the penalty kicks, it was 2-2 after 80. It was 2-2 after 100. And so they went to PKs, and Allatoona got the Duke 4-2 in PKs. So Allatoona, ranked number 5, advances, and they go to number 3, North Oconee, who beat Northview by the score of 2-0. That's Quad A. Now I'll go to 5A, what happened yesterday, and once again, we get to catch up with Coach Houston coming up in about 20 minutes, and we'll get the walk through about what happened with Greenbrier's win over Jackson County and their win over Rome in round 1. They're going to host Lassiter. We're going to have Robbie Galvin on tomorrow at 12:30 to get his preview about that particular matchup. Lassiter beat Lassiter beat Chambly, and that one was a 2-0 win for Lassiter. So we're going to talk about that one tomorrow. But Lassiter travels to Greenbrier, upper left. Loganville and Villa Rica is today down in the low left. Winner of that one gets Northgate. Northgate beat River Ridge by the score of 3-0. So the number 6 team in the scoreboard rankings in 5A girls advances to the round of 8 in 5A. Pope beat McIntosh in PKs, goalless after 100, 4-2 in PKs. Alexander goes and gets the win 4-1 at Houston County. So Alexander travels to Pope, number 9 at number 2. Roswell shut out Lakeside to Cab. Hab Central beat Kennesaw Mountain 5-2. And so now Roswell travels to Mount Airy in the next round, May 5. Roswell at number 1, Mount Airy's Hab Central. The Raiders are at number 8. That's 5A. 6A, it is on the girls' side. Mill Creek went down to the coast and shut out Richmond Hill 2-0. So now for doing that, they get to travel to Lambert. Lambert shut out South Gwinnett by the score of 4-0. So Mill Creek at Lambert in the next round. All these are on May 5, by the way. Walton had no problem with Mountain View, and now Walton travels to Harrison. Harrison shut out North Gwinnett 1-0 yesterday on the Harrison campus. So Walton travels to Harrison. Mill Creek at Lambert. Lambert ranked number 6. Walton ranked number 5. Harrison ranked number 4. In the upper right, West Forsyth, who's ranked number 3, gets to host North Paulding. North Paulding, the 2 seed, beat the number 1 seed, East Coweta, in Sharpsburg. So North Paulding travels to West Forsyth on May 5, and Brookwood and Buford, 1 and 2 in the scoreboard rankings. Low right next go around. Brookwood goes to Tom Ryden, and Campbell loses to Brookwood 1-0. Brookwood, number 1, beats Campbell, number 9. Buford beats Cherokee by the score of 7-0. So number 1 and number 2 in the round of 8 because of the rotation. That's how it goes. The rotation of your regions and figuring out who you get to play in your rota. Brookwood now in Buford, 1 versus 2. So the number 1 or the number 2 team in 6A girls is not going to make it to the semifinals in 6A. Semifinals in 6A will not have a number 1 or a number 2 on the girls' side. So that's what you're staring at. So you got matchups today, tomorrow, and Friday. And so it is the same rundown. It's just on the boys' side today when it comes to where you can go and what you need to stare at. So Class A Division II boys, Bryan County and Atkinson County. Atkinson County, they both had first-round byes, and so Atco ranked number 2 in the boys' side of things. They host in Pearson, Bryan County, who comes from the Savannah area, and they make their way in and around the swamp, and they head down to Pearson to take on number 2 Atkinson County. Montgomery County as team 3, they get to travel to number 10 Atlanta Classical because Montgomery County 4-0 winners over Macon County. Atlanta Classical, we had that match, some of it with technology issues. Atlanta Classical over Lincoln County by the score of 5-3. And so it's Montgomery County at ACA. That one is upper left. Chatco is going to be taking on Towns County. Towns County travels to Chatco after Chatco beat Wheeler County last week 5-1. Towns beat Elite Scholars 4-3. So the number 4 team in Towns County travels to Chatco to take on Area 4's team number 1. Low left, Irwin County boys, they travel to Metter to take on the number 6 Metter Tigers. We caught up with the Metter program. It's been great strides for them so far this season. So it is number 4 traveling to number 6, or traveling to Chatco, and then number 6 Metter gets Irwin County. That's the left-hand side in Class A Division II. Lake Oconee Academy, who once again is ranked number 3, they get to Mount Zion Carroll and also Dooley on the boys' side. So the Dooley County side, once again, you had Coach Nato and the program on the Dooley County girls' side. They made it to Portal yesterday before they were exiting of the playoffs, and so now Dooley gets to go to Claxton. And we caught up with Coach Nato. It was interesting to find out. It's like, okay, I'm taking the girls, and so we leave school, we go to Portal, we come back. And I think Coach Nato had testing, and so he's doing testing today. So the boys' side gets to go, hop on a bus, go to Claxton. And it's basically the same drive, except that when you go to Portal, you go north. off I-16, and when you go to Claxton, you go south. It's basically the same drive. I think it's like 133 miles or something each way. So Dooley and Claxton, that is at Claxton today because both teams are 2s, and Dooley County is ranked number 5. GMC's boys, they get to wait for Brooks County to make their way up from Quitman. Brooks shut out Portal. GMC shut out Manchester. So Brooks goes to GMC, and Washington, Wilkes, and Tryon each got first-round byes. So Tryon's ranked number 7, and they are low right, and they get the Class A Division II boys low right bracket wrapped up with their matchup going on against Tryon. And we're trying to catch up with the folks from Tryon just because of everything that they have been able to do with the program in the last little bit. Quad A boys, once again, Walnut Grove and Druid Hills. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a double header on that's at Walnut Grove. Druid Hills as the 4, and I think that's a double header on campus, if I remember correctly. So Druid Hills, ranked number 9, goes to Perry, knocks off the number 10 ranked team, and then they end up with the win there. And so you end up with Druid Hills, ranked number 9, knocking off number 10 Perry, now going to Walnut Grove. The number 4 seed can Coach Bodnar and Druid Hills advance once more by playing Walnut Grove. BT ranked number 7 as a team number 2. They get to take on Midtown at Midtown. That one on the boys' side is slated for today. North Oconee and Marist. Marist ranked number 2. Marist shut out Ware in the first round. North Oconee shut out Stockbridge. North Oconee travels to number 2 Marist. Centennial's boys as a 3 seed. They get to travel to Stars Mill and take on Coach Buck's side, who won in PKs over Forest Park in a 1-4 matchup in the first go-round. So Centennial is at Stars Mill. North Oconee is at Marist at Stadler Field. Those are slated for today, according to our brackets. We'll check start times coming up in just a little bit. Right-hand side, Jackson, Atlanta, Maynard Jackson as the 3 seed. They travel to number 5 Westminster, and Clarkston goes and they host East Forsyth. East Forsyth is a 4. They knocked off Eagles Landing, the number 1 team out of Region 2. Clarkston shut out Wayne County, coming up all the way from Jessup 2-0. So number 4 advances, and they host East Forsyth. That's upper right in your brackets. Dalton and Pace. Dalton is hosting Pace. Dalton was in a shootout with Kell, winning that one 4-3. Pace Academy shut out Griffin. So number 6 Pace Academy travels to number 1 Dalton. That's today. And also it is St. Pius, number 3 ranked, who went to Benedictine, won on the coast, have come back, and now they travel to Eastside. So St. Pius number 3 and Eastside number 8. That one is out in Covington, and I believe that is a 6:30 start, if I remember what Champ Young texted me the other day. So 6:30 start with Pius and Eastside. 5A boys, Clark Central and Kennesaw Mountain. Clark Central, number 6 team, they beat Houston County, and Kennesaw Mountain went to Greenbrier and beat Greenbrier. So we'll talk once again to Coach Houston about both of those programs and the strides that they've been making this year. Sprayberry and Woodward Academy, number 3 and number 5. Sprayberry goes to Woodward Academy. They beat Chattahoochee 4-2. Woodward Academy shut out Morrow in a 1-4, 4-0. So number 3 and number 5, and Clark Central at number 6 takes on Kennesaw Mountain, who comes in as a 4 seed. In 5A boys low left, Jackson County went to Lee County, went to Leesburg, beat Lee County last week, and now they travel to number 9 Rome. Johns Creek and McIntosh, once again, that's the one that's on the network tonight, and we'll have that one for you as number 4 is taking on number 2 on the boys' side, low left in your bracket in 5A. Chambly went to Dutchtown, put 6 on Dutchtown, 1 as a 3 seed. Now they get number 1 River Ridge. River Ridge, once again, 1-0 winners over Roswell. Glen Academy over Alexander on the they traveled up to Alexander to knock off the number 8 team in Glen Academy. Veterans shut out Loganville 4-0. So it is Chambly at River Ridge, Glen Academy at Veterans in Kathleen. Then low right, Decatur shut out Northgate 2-0, and they will take on Milton, who beat Riverwood. And let me get the score because I think it went to PKs before they were done. So let me double check that. So 5A boys. So 5A boys. Final score was Milton winning 1-0. So Milton beat Riverwood 1-0 in that one. So that's how Milton advanced. So Decatur goes to Milton. Lakeside Evans 3-0 winners over South Paulding, and they travel to Habersham Central. So Mount Airy is a very, very busy place. We're trying to catch up with the Raiders and find out what's going on there on the boys and the girls side. It's low left in your brackets as you write them in pen. And that's your 5A rundown for today. In 6A, we mentioned Decula and Richmond Hill. And so Richmond Hill had one playoff match on the girls' side. They're going to have at least two on the boys' side. Decula shut out Douglas County. Richmond Hill won better than North Paulding 3-2. So Richmond Hill on the coast is hosting Decula. Meadow Creek once again upsetting number 3 North Atlanta in round number 1 3-0. They travel to Grayson. So it is Meadow Creek at number 1 Grayson, and that is upper left. Now on the board also it is Mill Creek as the 3 seed, knocking off East Coweta. So they travel to Etowah. Etowah beat Colquitt County 1-0. Norcross ranked number 2. They beat Alpharetta in the opening round, and they're going to go to Pebblebrook. So Pebblebrook 4-3 winners over South Gwinnett. You have number 2 traveling to number 8. Right-hand side of the bracket, Campbell 3-2 winners over Heritage Conyers. They're going to take on number 4 Lambert at Lambert. Lambert beat North Gwinnett by the score of 2-1. Marietta, the number 2 seed, ranked number 10 out of Region 5, beat Lowndes. And then Discovery with one of the big upsets, if you look at it from a rankings perspective. Discovery, 3-1 winners in Carrollton against number 5 Carrollton. Discovery now as a 4 seed has to travel to Northcutt to take on Marietta. Once again, that one is slated for today. Harrison and Archer in a battle of 2 top 9 teams, number 7 versus number 9. Harrison won on the road at Archer, and that was a 4-2 final. Duluth beat South Forsyth, and so that means that Duluth is going to host Harrison, and then Walton is going to host Walton goes to Collins Hill, number 6 Collins Hill in the scoreboard rankings. Walton 1-0 winners at Camden County down in Kingsland. Chapel Hill 5-0 winners, 5-0 losers to Collins Hill. So number 7 advances to take on Duluth, and then Walton advances to take on number 6 Collins Hill. So those are the matchups that you have today. Let's get you into your start times. So as we always say, our charge to you on days like today is go someplace you've never gone. In the playoffs, go a place you've never been, so you can sit there and go, I went and saw this match here at this particular location, and it was really cool. And it might have been a place that I hadn't necessarily thought of going to, and then I ended up going, and it was a great experience, and you get to share your experience with others going forward. And so, of course, the particular place where I go to Scores sends me to Florida Metro and Miami for February 27th. And so that's not where I want to go. And so 52 matches today on the boys' side. Montgomery County and Atlanta Classical, as we anticipated, over at Silverbacks Park at 5 o'clock. Bryan and 14-4 Atco is also at 5. Brooks and GMC slated for 5:30. Washington Wilkes and 13-4 Tryon slated for 5:30. 6 o'clock, Dooley County Claxton, Glen Academy, and Veterans, 14-4 versus 16-3. Campbell and Lambert is at 6 o'clock, 10-6-1, taking on 14-3. East Forsyth at 12-6, taking on 1-loss Clarkston. Irwin County goes to Metter. Metter's at 13-1. Towns County at 17-2 this year, having to travel to Chatco, who's at 9-8. That's a 6 o'clock start. St. Pius and Eastside 15-4, 15-0. That one's at 6:30. Chambly and River Ridge, that's at 7 o'clock. River Ridge is 15-1. Meadow Creek at 13-5, taking on Grayson, 17-1. That's at 7 o'clock. Mill Creek and Etowah, Norcross and Pebblebrook. By the way, Norcross is 16-1-1. Pebblebrook 14-4-1. Discovery and Marietta, who's at 14-3. Harrison's 1-15. Duluth is 1-15. Only Harrison's 4 losses separates them from 3-loss Duluth. Decula and Richmond Hill, once again, Richmond Hill 16-3. 2 14-win teams involving Jackson County and Rome. All these are at 7 o'clock. Sprayberry Woodward is at 7. Sprayberry's 1-15. Woodward Academy's 1-14. Lakeside Evans goes to Hab Central. They're 12-3. 7:30, Johns Creek McIntosh, once again 18-2 and 17-2. Decatur and Milton's at 7:30, 11 wins versus 13 wins. Collins Hill, by the way, is 15-3 on the boys' side, and they are at 7:30. Maynard Jackson and Westminster is at 7:45. Druid Hills 12-6. Walnut Grove 15-4 at 8 o'clock. So that is where we are with the matchups there. 52 matches slated for today, and once again, the early one, Montgomery County and Atlanta Classical. That one is set to go once again at 5 o'clock. So that's your rundown of everything that is going on today. And once again, thanks to Coach Townsend and AJ for coming in to let you know what's going on at Trinity Christian as they get ready for their matchup tomorrow at Hebron Christian tomorrow. The guest list is at the moment Brian Lawson, the boys head coach at Jeff Davis. We'll find out about what's going on with them on the boys and the girls side. Once again, their first ever playoff doubleheader. They had that last week. And so now what are you going to do for an encore? We'll find out from Coach Lawson on the boys and girls sides. Robbie Galvin, the head coach at Lassiter on the girls side, he's going to join us at 12:30, and we'll have that broken down for you as well. Once again, reminder, no in-session Playoff Daily Live on Friday because of the media match involving Atlanta United. We will all be up there in some form or fashion. I think that Joe Freihofer and I are going to be on the sidelines for that one. And so Mike and Jason in the booth. Do not be surprised if Garth Lagerway comes in and he adds his 2 cents when it comes to folks getting stuck in the tackle and all that kind of stuff. And so media match is in the afternoon, and so we're going to be there for that. And then I think that goes from like 12:45 until 2. And then we've got an interview set up with USC Upstate, which will be a 1v1 that we'll post later on the weekend. It's a really cool thing about where they have more than one team that's attached to a program. They have like a developmental squad, and they're going to have, and we'll get into that idea and the wording and the phrasing and how long it took for that to happen. And we'll get into that about what's going on over there at USC Upstate tomorrow afternoon. So once again, just a reminder, no soccer is in session, Playoff Daily Live tomorrow. So I guess probably what we should do is let you know what's going on May 1st as well before Coach Houston drops by. So May 2, and May 1. So Class A D1 girls on May 1st. It is Bremen hosting Elbert, Lamar going to Jeff Davis, Dade County hosting Worth, Dodge going to Social Circle, ranked number 5. Thomasville hosting Toombs. That's going to be a great matchup, 3 versus 14. Swainsboro at number 9 travels to number 2 Model. East Lawrence, ranked number 7 and team 7. They host Armurchie. Fitzgerald, team 15, travels to Ace Charter, who is ranked number 3. So that is on May 1. AAA girls. It is Jefferson hosting Lumpkin, so number 9 to number 1. ARC, Team 9, travels to Dawsonville to take on Dawson County. Bainbridge hosting Gilmer, who Gilmer beat Peach County 21-12, 7-1, so they travel to Bainbridge. Cherokee Bluff ranked number 3. Northwest Whitfield ranked number 8, but Northwest Whitfield is number 4, so Cherokee Bluff travels to Northwest Whitfield in the power rankings. Whitewater and Heritage Catoosa. Heritage Catoosa travels to Whitewater, who's ranked number 2. Adairsville at number 7 and team 11. They travel to Luella. Sandy Creek, who held Baldwin to a 1 goal, ranked number 4, and they're going to host Long County, who beat Upson Lee in the 10-23. Oconee County in the 5-10 matchup, who beat Johnson Gainesville. That match was on our air. You'll remember the match was postponed about an hour and 20 minutes. And Harlem shut out North Clayton, so Oconee County travels to Harlem. That is in AAA girls. Also on the private girls side in the playoffs, once again, Hebron Christian and Mount Vernon. That is on the network. That's our first match. So it's Hebron Christian, Mount Vernon girls, and it's Hebron Christian, Trinity Christian boys. That's the doubleheader tomorrow, 5:30 and 7:30 on the network. Mount Vernon ranked team 17. And you have the head coach yesterday from Hebron Christian say that Mount Vernon is not a typical team 17 since they came through the region of death. Holy Innocents at number 5 hosts St. Vincent's at ranked number 9, but number 9 goes to team number 8. So St. Vincent's host Holy Innocents. Leavitt ranked number 3. They will host Fellowship Christian. Both teams got shutouts in their first rounds. Paideia will travel to Wesleyan. Both teams got shutouts. Wesleyan's ranked number 1. GAC ranked number 2. They host Darlington. Atlanta International travels to Calvary Day. Calvary Day is ranked number 10. Athens Academy, ranked number 7. They get to host Whitfield Academy, who's ranked number 8 in Team 10. The Walker School beat Mount Perrin, and they will travel to Savannah Country Day, who is ranked number 4. And then in AA girls, Pike hosting Stevens County. Sonoraville travels to East Jackson, so number 8 takes on number 9. Number 1 hosts team number 7 in the rankings from Scoreboard. Coahulla Creek at number 5 hosts Shaw, and it is Tech Career at number 20, who beat Salem in the opening round. They travel to Drew Charter, who's ranked at number 10. Savannah Arts ranked number 6. They are team 3. They host Therrell. Pierce County is at number 11, and they travel to Thompson. Morgan County at number 4. They host Murray County. Callaway at number 3 in the rankings, 15 overall, travels to Columbus. And so that is the rundown of everything that you're missing when you might be checking out other things. And so it is time to go to Greenbrier and catch up with Rob Houston and find out what's going on with the Greenbrier program. There he is. What's going on, Rob?
Hey, how are you, John?
You tell me. You're the one who's busy at the moment.
Man, it's chaos right now. There's a lot going on.
What's it like juggling 2 programs all season long, getting them both into the postseason?
Honestly, up until the playoffs, it wasn't that bad. I mean, the travel schedules are identical. The practice schedules are identical. Then once we got to the playoffs and they start offsetting days, that's when it got a little challenging. And it made for some long weeks, but now it's just the girls left. So
if I had told you coming into this year, after we saw each other at Creek Cup, that your boys and girls teams would have the issues that they did, what would you have told me?
I'd have said that's a successful season, but an unfinished one. Really for both. I mean, the boys, it was disappointing. We kind of ran into some injury issues, and late in the year. Got our depth really challenged and really just couldn't quite get past that hump. So that was disappointing, especially how we started with the Creek Cup. The excitement we had coming out of that. Girls, I mean, we still have things to prove.
When you go back, how much have you watched of the matchup against Jackson County as you get ready to host Lassiter coming up next week?
So we watched a few things, went back and looked at some of the things that kind of remembered from the game. Didn't watch the whole game. We're trying to move into the preparation. We play on Monday, so we're trying to get straight into preparation. So we lose an entire day of practice for prom. Chaos is always this time of. Really, it's about making sure we shore up those 1 or 2 weaknesses we identified during the game. Let the girls see it on the camera, on the film, and then start looking ahead and figuring out what we got to game plan and get ready for the next week.
16-2, 6-0 in region. You finished second in region. For those that didn't get the chance to see Region 1-5A, how tough was it considering that you're basically traveling from where you are to Effingham and Statesboro and Brunswick? How tough was it to navigate?
So actually, we did sub-regions. So we okay. Most of our quote-unquote region games were, Lakeside, Evans, Effingham, and Effingham was the only one that we really had to travel for during our normal region play. And then we got into the region tournament, and we played at home for the whole region tournament. So, we were fortunate to not have to travel a whole lot. And then, again, we got fortunate that we didn't have to travel on Monday either.
So you look at the defense. I want to talk about your defense for a second.
Yeah.
36 goals scored, 1 allowed in region play. Then overall, you've scored 105 and given up 8. Do you have a chance to sit there and ingest those numbers and understand what your defense was able to do this year?
kind of astounding to think about it. But then I start thinking about some of the players we have, and it makes total sense. Our center back, Julia Neff, she's fantastic. She's one of the fastest people I've ever seen on the field as far as girls go. I mean, she's made some recoveries that I didn't think were going to be possible. And it's just speed and willpower for her. She's, a captain and, 4-year starter on this team, and it shows. She brings a really good, steady presence to that back line. We've got another senior, Maggie Pangle, who starts back there. And then we've got some younger legs that bring a lot of speed on the other side. So we have a really good balance of youth and experience and speed and savvy and tactics, and kind of it works. It melds really well.
What's it like to have the flag football folks? I mean, I imagine that playing multiple sports really keeps you as sharp as possible 12 months out of the year. But what's it like to have the flag football folks integrate with the soccer program and vice versa?
So it's been great, honestly. I think probably half the girls play for our flag football team, and they're 2-time state champions. They are been there, done that kind of mentality. They've been through the ringer. They've played the tough games. They've overcome stuff. On that flag football team, and still came home with a trophy. And I keep talking to them and to that effect. Say, look, you guys know what this is like. You've been here. You understand the mentality, the dedication, all that kind of stuff. The things you got to do to keep working your way through the brackets and finish strong. And I told the girls the other night that there's only one team in the entire state that ends the season with a good talk. And every other team I've been on from the time I played, 40 years ago to all the way through my coaching career, like I've never ended a season on that good talk, and I'm ready for it to happen this year.
Lassiter getting ready for the road trip to Greenbrier, and that's coming up on May 5. Another couple of minutes here with Rob Houston, the head coach of the girls team, and the head coach of Greenbrier and the head coach of Greenbrier. I can't let this go without talking about the Heckathorn sisters and what they've been able to do for you this season. The numbers at times are staggering, and considering that they're sisters and at one point they were almost identical, it's just wild to see what they've been able to do.
They are an incredible group. And we actually have 4 groups of sisters that start on this team. It's kind of wild. Soccer is a very close-knit sport, like every sport is, but when you've been playing a game since you were 4 years old, and you've been playing with the same people since you were 4 years old, and then you add in another layer, like those same people are my sisters, they are very close. And Heckathorns, man, I think between the two of them, they have, 62 goals, I think, total right now, somewhere along those lines. And actually, Madeline, the younger sister, the junior, she's outscored Natalie right now. Just the way the game has gone. She's every bit as dangerous as Natalie is, and she's earning her rightful spotlight at the same time.
All right, since we talked about the roster, talked about the sisters in flag football, let me ask you, make that kid an offer. Things may have changed since the last time we caught up. Who on your roster is not getting the looks you think they deserve, or not getting looks, period, that you think would really serve a coach well at the next level?
So Jay Neff is signed to play at South Georgia State College, I want to say. But I really think that she could play a much higher level than that. Madeline Heckathorn, she just signed, or is just committed, I should say, didn't sign. She committed to Georgia College and State. And again, I think she could play higher than that. Either one of those two, I could easily see at a large P5 D1 school. No problem at all.
Very cool. Do I need to send you a note to the principal about you hopping out to your car?
No, I'm on my prep period right now.
Okay. So I will let you get to your prepping, because you've got a really busy day coming up. We're going to catch up with Coach Galvin tomorrow and find out what it's going to be like for him. Knocked off Jackson County in round 2, beat Rome in round 1, getting ready for Lassiter in the upper left as you fill out your brackets in 10 and the girls in 5A. Rob, it's great to see you. Great run so far. You've got the garage door opener. You know you can come in anytime. Thanks for dropping by on your prep period.
Thank you so much for the invite, John. It's always a pleasure.
All right, that's Rob Houston. He's the girls' head coach. He's the head coach at Greenbrier and the head coach at Greenbrier. And so it was great to catch up with him and get the rundown. Once again, it was a 3-0 win over Jackson County in round number 2. And then it was a 6-1 win at home against Rome. They've done a lot of their work. They have done a lot of their work at home this season. And it was good to find out that they did sub-regions because I admit that when we were looking at the scores in round 1 of the playoffs or late in the playoffs and we're seeing crossovers and things like that as we're getting late in the year, I was like, okay, it's like region tournament. And I was like, wait a minute. But now it makes sense that they're doing that as we go. Once again, tomorrow, actually, let's start with tonight. Tonight, McIntosh and Johns Creek, that's at 7:30. Once again, soccerdownhere.mixler.com, or you can go to soccerdownhere.net, and you can listen to the games either one of those two ways. They'll be archived on our Mixler channel as we go later, and so you can listen to McIntosh and Johns Creek live tonight, or like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning if you can't sleep, or if you just want to do something as you're waking up, then you can do that there. Then once again, tomorrow it is SDHAM at 9:05. We're going to have all the discussions and everything going on early. And then it's going to be the Power Hour with Nino Torres from Gold TV, Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports, and from Sounder at Heart. Soccer's in Session Playoff Daily Live at noon. Brian Lawson from Jeff Davis and Robbie Galvin from Lassiter, 12 and 12:30 here on the network. We'll get you ready for the action going on. We'll talk about what happens tonight. We'll get you ready for tomorrow. We'll get you ready for Friday. And then it is the doubleheader at Hebron Christian. It is Mount Vernon, and it is Trinity Christian at Hebron Christian, 5:30 and 7:30 on Thursday. And then once again on Friday, it's going to be no Playoff Daily Live at noon because it's the media match that's coming up for Atlanta United at atlutd.com/live. We'll have some fun with that. And then from there, Jason and I travel up to Calhoun to take on Johnson, to see Johnson Gainesville travel to take on Calhoun. That's a 7 o'clock kick. We'll be up there for that. So that's our week. In addition to getting you ready for Atlanta United and Nashville, as Nashville's coming to town on Friday. Marty Jellamy is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock on Friday to talk about Atlanta United Unified. And we'll catch up with Kareem Tamimi from KSA and our friends from SPV, Gigi Gruther Firth, to find out what's going on this weekend. Very special stuff with KSA and Gruther Firth. Very, very cool stuff with them. So that's another go-round of Soccer's in Session Playoff Daily Live, brought to us by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. See you tonight at Johns Creek. I mean, you can listen to us live tonight. Johns Creek and McIntosh, once again, a little before 7:30 on the network to break it all down for you. And we'll be back once again 9:05 tomorrow morning for the morning show. Noon for Soccer is in Session Daily Playoff Daily Live. Doubleheader at Hebron Christian from there as well. So very, very busy time here. Postseason, everything's running 500 miles an hour, and we're glad that you're a part of it with us. Once again, thanks to everybody who was watching. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Mucha platiel, play it safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go see a playoff game. Go enjoy a playoff game, and maybe go see a team that you haven't had the chance to go see yet. Enjoy all of those today. Since it's the end of the show, it means we get to do this. We'll see you tonight from McIntosh. Bye.